gentlemen, good morning. Happy Sunday morning to you. Football Sunday. I am sitting here. You are talking to Rob the Mad Hatter, and I've got my boys, both of them on the line. First of all, I got to welcome back the Dream. Kid, what's up?
What's going on, player? Happy to be on the air today. We had a great day yesterday. Just a little hiccup last night late, but other than that, a stellar day.
Oh, fantastic. How about you, evil genius? What's going on, man?
Yeah, so, we went 2-2 and then another loss in college basketball with Northern Iowa losing to Colorado State, which is unbelievable, but hey, that's why we're going really, really light to start the college ball ticket. But hey, Stanford, I know, got a bunch of us yesterday, but we were still able to hit on West Virginia and Washington State with the outright win.
Well, I can tell you right now that I have to apologize to you guys because I did say that Oklahoma would win by 2 touchdowns. Well, they only won by 10. So whatever. But hey, the Oklahoma Sooners get the job done, and I got to be honest with you guys. I think that is one of the best teams in college football right now, man. And I think that they're going to stomp TCU this week, and then they have to prove it to me by going into Oklahoma State, the final game of the year. And I believe if whoever wins that game, in my personal opinion, should definitely make the playoff. What do you think about that, Dan?
I would have to agree. If Oklahoma State goes into that game and wins that game and ends up undefeated, how can how can they not be in?
I agree.
How can they not be in? I mean, regardless, I understand the defenses in that conference are pretty terrible, but they have some of the most prolific offenses you have to play. They had a murderous, end-of-year schedule. Both teams did with Oklahoma as well. The only thing that I could see the committee saying is kind of discounting the TCU win because TCU doesn't look so good, discounting Baylor because it's a backup quarterback, but I still can't see one of those teams not getting in.
What's your thoughts on that, Dream?
You know what? It's just so, dude, right now, I'm just going to wait and watch it play out. I mean, we thought we knew a lot of things that we thought we knew, and yesterday just shut down a bunch of stuff. So you got to wait and see. With all the upsets that happened in college football yesterday, and some really surprising ones, I think you just got to wait and let it pan its way out because, like I said it a couple of weeks ago, it all seems to always manage to work its way out.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Alabama looked dope. Clemson did not look as dope. The Ohio State
No, but we called that in the Carrier Dome.
Yep, definitely. We did. We talked about Syracuse plus 30 points, guys.
Yeah.
That was a lot of points for them to be given.
That was insane. I mean, look, Clemson is still a dope team. Every team is going to have a hiccup, and, hey, when you go up to Syracuse in that dome, they still won the game. Clemson's still the clear number 1, I think.
Yep, got it. I don't know. I mean, Alabama looks really strong with that defense and that front four and the whole package there. I mean, they were like the first 3 plays with Dak Prescott's, step back. I think they sacked him once and they almost sacked him a second time in like the first 3 plays. But you know what? Hey, they're a favorite, and I just want to talk about all the underdogs yesterday. All the underdog players out there must have cashed for days because New Mexico was a plus 5,000 money line underdog and won the game in Boise State on the blue turf last night, Dream.
Yeah, no, I know.
And another big upset, too. How about Holly Holm layeth the smacketh down on Ronda Rousey? Ronda Rousey coming out there all, being cocky, not hitting gloves, and, looking all, like, mean and stuff like that. And, hey, somebody just kind of showed her what time it was.
Yes, they did. And, I mean, I think that's going to be a huge rematch. I expect it to happen. I think it'll probably happen at the MGM in Vegas. So let's see what goes on with that. But I don't think she'll be as cocky a second time. But she got beat. Flat out, she got beat.
She got smoked too. I mean, Holly Holm was no joke last night. And Holly Holm is like nice as hell, man. When you hear her on the microphone, she's all like, yeah, blah 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 blah. I mean, just a complete polar opposite of Ronda Rousey, and just ended up just knocking her out, man. Crazy.
Yeah, but speaking of Alabama, kid, I'm going to go ahead and make a crazy prediction right now.
What's that?
Alabama loses the Iron Bowl.
Alabama loses at Auburn.
Yeah.
Wow.
No way.
That is a crazy. I'll do the Ciroc bottle back on that one.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have to give me the spread for the Ciroc bottle. I'm saying Auburn will cover. Auburn will cover because that spread will probably be like 20 something. Dude, it's the Iron Bowl. You saw Oklahoma lose to Texas this year. Come on.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
But
just saying.
Bama is not losing no game at this. Bama going forward, I don't think is losing any games.
No, Bama's sick, man. And Bama's gonna. I think Bama's gonna kill Florida in the SEC championship if they get there. I know Florida's already basically.
Auburn Auburn was awful yesterday.
I know,
They got beat
I
by
know.
Georgia.
I
They
know,
were
but
terrible.
They do, and I mean, look, I'm solely basing this on the fact of the emotion of the Iron Bowl, the fact that it's in Auburn, and this is like the only thing that Auburn is playing for. But not only that, Auburn's 5-5 right now, so they have home against Idaho, and then they have Alabama. So they'll probably, they got to beat Idaho at home, I would figure. Which gets them bowl eligible, but, if they don't get that 7th win with, a stacked SEC, and, look, it's just pure emotion.
I can't even I can't even talk about Auburn.
I gotta edit that part out of the show, Dan.
Please get that out of it.
2 weeks.
Who even cares about their bowl? Were they going to go to that Meineke one? Put them in the Meineke bowl.
No, but that's what I'm saying. This is their championship game.
Put them in a
nothing would make Auburn happier than, to beat Alabama. And look, it's happened before in the past where Auburn's been terrible and it's found a way to beat Alabama.
Well,
I'm just saying.
That is my favorite bowl of the season, the Meineke Bowl. I love that one.
Get the Chick-fil-A bowl with the Raging Cajuns.
Everybody gets a muffler.
When are they going to make the SBTV Nation Bowl?
No doubt. So we got to come out with our old bowl.
But it's in Wembley, and they got the betting booths right outside. That's when they'll make our bowl.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That'll be awesome, dude. Yeah, you probably see Auburn versus the Raging Cajuns, Louisiana Lafayette.
We should get to pick the teams that can go in our bowl, though. It'll be the most awesome bowl ever because I'll be like, you're dusty, you're booty. You lost to Ole Miss at second week of the season, so we're not messing with you.
You're gonna be fighting the Rose Bowl over who's getting in.
I know.
Yeah. My personal favorite
I'll be throwing people out being salty on wagers that we lost. Okay, let me look at my tickets real quick. Oh, remember week 3 when you wanted to not cover again? Against Wake Forest? You're out of there.
Yeah, right, exactly.
My favorite though, personally, is the Tax Slayer Bowl that they play in Jacksonville, Florida. So the Tax Slayer Bowl could be a good one too.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Guys, we are flying high right now on a Sunday morning on Twitter at SBTV Nation. Everybody's kind of sending me comments here. Taking a look at Irvin got his T-shirt on, man. Sent me a photo of that, so we will retweet that and post that all over our social media outlets and have a great time with this stuff, man.
I gotta say one thing to wrap up the college football bit, and I know we didn't play it, but I just got to send out props to that Navy team. I know it's SMU.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. And I know SMU's terrible, but Navy is a one-loss team that's looking at a great bowl. I can't remember the last time they've ever been in the top 25. And to be there, it's probably been since post-World War II, maybe. Something like crazy like that. So, props to Navy. Love seeing the armed forces do well.
Oh, absolutely. And that team is no joke. And Dream, Houston pulled it out last night.
I know.
They won by the skin of their teeth with a backup quarterback, 35-34. So we got to end up seeing what Greg Ward Jr. has got going on, as far as his ankle injury is concerned. Because regardless if he's in or not, I got news for you. This Navy team has a chance to knock them off. I know you might not want to hear that, Dream, but
I don't. I don't want to hear it. I think they got a really close call yesterday, and they got a close call the game before. So I think it's something that they definitely got to get back and get to work. The coaching staff should be all over getting to work. I don't know what Ward's status is though, because if he's down, that's going to be a big hit.
Yeah, definitely, guys. So. Like I said, we're on Twitter right now and looking forward to getting involved in all of the NFL games of the day, man. Hopefully, I wonder if you guys are going to have another battle or not.
No, not at all, because I'm not in any mood for that today.
Definitely not, man. Well, let's let's shoot right over to it and see what we got going on. First game we have is the 1-7 Detroit Lions going into the 6-2 Packers, who are 4-0 at home, and the Green Bay Packers are minus 10.5 with an under/over of 49 points. I could just kick it right off and say, guys, I've been saying this forever now. The Green Bay Packers have not lost in the frozen tundra in forever, since 2013. I don't see them losing here. I think this is a perfect spot. If you're a 3-team 10-point teaser guy, you could probably get Green Bay minus the half and be okay with that. Moneyline parlay, Green Bay is probably good here. I think Aaron Rodgers has a big game today at home, and I think they bounce back after the 2 straight losses. Dream, what's your thoughts on that?
Think the public's on Green Bay today?
You think? Well, I could tell you this much. A lot of the public probably got smoke showed yesterday with Stanford and LSU and a couple of other teams, which I was on LSU, by the way.
LSU was that Arkansas team. I'm telling you, it's just real aggravating. I know it's got to be even more aggravating to the coaching staff to understand that they got that kind of a talent and he can't get those kids to produce at the beginning of the season, and now at the end of the season they want to play spoiler. And then on the LSU side, man, just take it back to college football for one more time. What were Fournette's numbers yesterday? Does anybody know?
I don't have.
They weren't bad. They weren't bad. No,
I mean, every time I saw it, he was running the ball. He was running for.
Yeah, they had to start throwing the ball.
Because I was really disappointed in his performance against Alabama. I don't know. I'm pulling it up now. I don't know what he did yesterday, but my thing is, you want to be in the Heisman Trophy talks.
Yesterday, he had 19 attempts, 91 yards, so 4.8 yards per carry.
Not bad.
And a touchdown.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad, but not super duper spectacular like he's been built to be.
Well, he also added 3 catches for 36 yards, so he had 130 yards of total offense.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
Hey, don't be surprised if Mayfield, the quarterback for the Oklahoma Sooners, slides in there.
But here's the problem, Dream, and I'm going to agree with you. I blame the coaching staff of LSU.
Yep.
You only have the ball in Fournette's hands 22 times.
Okay.
22 snaps. Okay, he is by far. He drives your offense. He was catching the ball out of the backfield well. Every time he ran, the dude was pulling off. He had a 5-yard almost per rush average, and they didn't ride their horse. That's the coach's fault.
But they were down. They got down early, so I guess it was tough, and they had to maybe abandon the run to an extent or try to go to the back. You know what my thing is, though? When we look back, and you look back, I'm just stuck with some of the old stuff, but when you look back at some of the old players, the really impressionable players, especially running backs in college football, they just give me the ball and they just got a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? We're just gone in all kinds of situations. When you talk about the greats, the Earl Campbells, the Barry Sanders, all those guys and I know it's hard to compare him, but this is today's day and age, looking for the new upcoming who's going to be dope in the NFL, and that's kind of where the bar is set. You know what I mean? It's just I'm not there with him.
I agree. But my thing is when you're talking about those other players, most of them had really good offensive lines. The LSU offensive line, in my opinion, is not at all as good as people are saying, because Fournette, he's getting stacked up in the backfield. You have guys in the backfield within a second and a half. So it's you're constantly under pressure. You're constantly having to go east-west. So that's my thing more than Fournette. Not as impressive, but I think the offensive line had a lot to do with it. But Hatter, back to the NFL slate. I'm with you. The 10-point tease, I got Green Bay as part of it. You're talking about a Detroit team that got smoked at Kansas City, 45-10. Now they got to go at Green Bay.
Yep.
I'll take the minus the 1 point is fine with me. I think they'll cover the 11, but I don't like that nasty 11 number.
What's your thoughts, Dream?
I like Green Bay. I'm not getting involved with it, but I like them. I wouldn't do the 11, but I don't really have a problem with it, though, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, you know what? I've been hearing the double-digit favorite thing. You know what? The Patriots covered their double digits last week. When the good Green Bay's offense is due an explosion, and they're due to if they can get the Lions down, they'll probably add extra to it, and because they'll want to blow them out because there's a lot of frustration here. There's a lot of aggravation, a lot of talk about the last 2 losses. So they'll want to add, they'll want to stack on the points. Not to mention the Lions, once they get down, they'll start pressing. Stafford will start making bad throws, forcing the ball where it shouldn't be. So the Green Bay defense should be able to capitalize. Dome team outside, weather, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, all those statistics, all those things, you add them all together and it equals a blowout.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's exactly where we're heading on this. And also, we have to remember what Aaron Rodgers did in the last 7 minutes against Carolina last week was ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Ridiculous.
Totally.
And now you're talking about a Detroit team that their defense, just not a good defense.
Next game we have on a ticket is the Dallas Cowboys coming into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dallas losers of 6 straight games, and the Tampa Bay Bucs are 3-5, 1-3 at home. It's a pick'em. There is no line with an under over 43.5. And you know what? If I had to lean, I kind of like the Bucs here, but I just don't know if Dallas is going to continue to lose. Dream, what's your thoughts on this?
I think I'm gonna take a shot at this one. You know what? I'm gonna go out on the limb here. I'm gonna say that I think the Cowboys are gonna find a way to win this game.
I think so, huh?
I just like a little bit what I've seen out of Castle as far as running the ball. It seems to be available for him, and he seems to still be athletically enough and have his legs against him. I watched this and I don't want to argue with you, Dan, but I watched this Buccaneers team last week shoot themselves in the foot several times against the Giants last week.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Okay, exactly. I watched him shoot themselves in the foot last week, and it's mistakes that I don't really see them overcoming. It seems to be their, what they do this season. Not to mention, sprinkle in a splash of Winston throwing a couple maybe picks. I think the good thing for Dallas was to get out of Texas and get on the road, with the heat of the whole controversy that they had. And I'm not going to get into any of that again this week. But I got a feeling that this Cowboy team, who is desperate for a win, I think that they can go into Tampa Bay, and I think they can win this game. I really do. I think they get a win here. So I'm going to lean Cowboys.
But financially, neither one of us are.
No, I'm not involved in it financially. No, I'm not.
And Dan, how about you?
Hey, to maintain consistency, I will not watch another Cowboys game. Okay. I don't care. I won't put money on it. I won't have anything to do with it. That's my thoughts on that.
Better hope they don't make it to the Super Bowl.
I will not watch it. I will not watch it.
Anyway.
If I have to, and first off, not that that's ever happening, but if I have to watch a man like Greg Hardy on I'd be happy not to watch it. I swear, I will film myself at the freaking movies.
Next game we have on the ticket is the 8-0 Panthers, Carolina Panthers, who are 3-0.
Hold on, Dan. Who did you like, Dan? I missed it. I'm sorry.
Oh, I wouldn't. Like I said, I wouldn't touch this game. I wouldn't watch this game. I don't want anything to do with it. But the fact that a team that's lost, 6 in a row is still a favorite is kind of crazy on the road. So, but whatever. Hey, I don't really care. I think the Cowboys probably lose, but I don't want anything to do with it.
All right, Carolina Panthers at the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee is 2-6, 0-4 at home. Wow. And the 8-0 Panthers coming into town. Jim Feist came on the show and called the Tennessee Titans to win this game and to cover their spread. We'll cover the spread because they're an underdog. But Carolina is now down to 4.5 with an under over a 43.5 points. Guys, I got to be honest with you. I completely disagree with them. I like Carolina in this spot. I think Carolina continues to win. Dan, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, when you have a defense as good as Carolina, I don't care how good Mariota's been. The things that you can do to rookie quarterbacks, are crazy. And then not only that, but can someone please tell me who is going to stop Cam Newton on Tennessee?
Yeah, right.
Dude has been lights out. I don't think being on the road affects him, not in Tennessee. I think there could be a good amount of Carolina Panthers fans there as well. I'm adding Carolina to my 10-point teaser. So we have Green Bay as the first leg at -1. and then Carolina as the second leg at plus 5.5, which I think is way more than you need. I hate that nasty 4.5 number. If I was going to play it straight, I'd obviously buy 2 points, but I'll take them at the plus 5.5 as part of the 10-point tees.
All right, sounds good. And Dream, I know that you have a disdain for Cam Newton.
Yeah, I do, but I can't go here. And I agree with you. I don't like Tennessee, and I don't like Carolina. I mean, I like Carolina, but I don't. You know, I mentioned when Jim was on, and I respect obviously his opinion, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But I mentioned the fact that I felt that Carolina's a very unorthodox team, and I still feel that way. You look at certain situations where this defense. But by the way, the defense has even though they're good, they have allowed a lot of yards at 367 yards allowed per game. They've allowed a lot of yards. This defense, I've watched him get in a lot of trouble at the end of the games, giving up games, or letting another team come back and not being able to put teams away. The other dynamic is I seen Cam Newton and his defense in, like third and like 20-somethings. I saw it last week against Green Bay. They were in like third down to 20, third down to 18, 2 to 3 times. He scrambles. That's not a well-coached team. I mean, that's him doing playground football and running around and finding a way to get it done. And I'm not knocking that, but I'm saying that because of that intangible, if you want to say, that Carolina has with him, is why I like them, because they're not – most guys look at this game, it will be like a letdown spot. It's that classic, guys who've been gambling for a long time or whatever. We know, you get these letdown spots where you come off of a big win last week and now you're on the road and you go into Tennessee and now you're in a letdown position. But the way the Carolina Panthers play, I don't believe that they're going to be susceptible to that, because it's more of, Kill's going to just go out, do his thing, get in the huddle, chew gum, you know what I mean? Talk about whatever he did last night at the party, and then tell, you go deep, Olsen, cut across the middle, and I'm going to try to hit you, and if not, I'm going to just run. You know what I'm saying? That's just the atmosphere that team seems to have, and I think for that reason, I like the Panthers.
You like the Panthers?
I do.
All right. I was going to say, all this hate on Cam Newton. Dan, I think that they went to school together and Cam stole the Dream's girlfriend or something like that. So I think that's all this bottled up issues that you have with Killer Cam. But anyway.
Nah. It's just I don't. I've told you my thing with him before. Yeah. He's a serious like he's in the showboat. The showboating that he does. At this point, it's just like not really all that classy to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, last year you stunk. All right, you got in the playoffs because you were in a bad division. All right, there was no showboat, and then your head was down. You were pouting, acting like a crybaby. So now this year, when was and I'm gonna, what? I'm gonna give this another. I'm gonna give you a little bit of analogy. When we first started doing our thing here, right? When I would win, I would like brag and boast and be all over Twitter going crazy. Oh, who you with? And all my thing and go. And then as the atmosphere changed and losses came and I started losing and other things happening, and I started learning how, all right, maybe I need to dial it back a little bit. It's called like growing up and understanding a situation a little bit different. Right. And I don't see that maturation with Cam Newton. It's like now that he's winning, he can't stop talking about it. So I can't wait for him to go to the NFC playoffs in the first round and get beat. And then he won't want to talk to nobody no more.
Well, they probably won't be in the first round.
They ain't getting beat in the first. They're gonna have a bye. They ain't getting beat
when they play, and then there won't be any discussion. It's like, dude, grow up now, all right? Go ahead.
But the NFC. If you're talking about the NFC, let's fast forward. If you're gonna say they get there, they have a bye. So you're talking about what? An NFC East team,
Arizona,
Arizona. But you're probably gonna have Arizona. Will probably have to play Green Bay.
Okay.
Because
I still think the Panthers are the worst team. I mean, out of all the playoff eligible teams, I still think they're the worst one out of the ones that are eligible.
No, it would have to be the Giants, Eagles, or whoever gets out of the East.
Or the Colts.
Or the Colts.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next game, guys.
The Texans are going to win that division, though.
The Texans, I don't know about that, Dan.
Dude, if Luck's out for 6 weeks,
yeah,
well, the Texans, you're going to be 6-10.
Yeah, good call. But hey, they have a bye week this week, so all good, man. Looking at the next game we have on the ticket, we got the Chicago Bears coming into the 4-4 Rams. St. Louis is -7 with an under-over of 42.5 points. I think the Rams get the job done here, Dan.
Yeah.
I think they win this game. I mean, the Bears have been very pesky. But what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so the Rams are actually the last leg of my 10-point teaser, so I got them up to +3. I don't think they need it. Look, Chicago, that defense is not good. And you're talking about a guy that's been running the ball, maybe the best running back in the league right now. Look, Chicago they're giving up 341.9 yards per game and almost 28 points. They have the 27th worst points allowed defense in the league. And St. Louis has number 6. St. Louis is only giving up 18.3 points per game. Okay. Look, this game is in St. Louis. I fully expect them to get it done. Again, I got it up to the +3 points just so I could sit back and laugh. I think this is a monster 10-point teaser. But I think Gurley has a big game. I think they pass the ball well enough to get it done. And the defense is still extremely underrated, in my opinion.
Yep.
And I think they do enough and turn the Bears over. Plus, I don't think Alshon Jeffrey's playing.
Oh, really? And the Rams are 3-1 at home as well, Dan.
So, yeah, I mean, it's that dome team thing. It's a good, if this game was in Chicago, I'd be more concerned, but it's in St. Louis. With, like I said, even if Alshon Jeffrey's out there, there's a good chance he's playing decoy. He tweaked that groin again in practice, I believe, on Thursday.
Okay.
So, obviously, keep that in mind, but St. Louis should be good here.
All right. Dream, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, the Rams look good, but I think the point spread's too heavy.
7 points, huh?
Yeah, I don't really like I don't like the 7 points for them. But the Bears could go out and lay a bomb today, lay an egg. But I think to be safe, and I'm not getting involved with this game either. But my lean would be the Rams. But you'd have to get this to a money line or at least under a field goal.
All right, sounds good. Next one we have on the ticket, boys, is the New Orleans Saints, who are 4-5, coming into the 3-5 Redskins. Redskins 3-1 at home. Redskins are -1 point with an under/over of 50.5 points. Wow, this game could go either way, Dream.
Yes, sir.
I don't have any opinion whatsoever on Breezy versus Kissing Cousins, man. Unless you do, fill me in, please.
Yeah, I don't really have Green Bay. I mean, New Orleans last week for me, kind of was dude, I thought you guys were like moving forward, and then you go and you lose to the Titans at home. Right. That was kind of troublesome for me. Yes. The Redskins played really tough. They're not an overly talented team, obviously, as they're 3-5, but they do play tough. It's going to be hard. You got once again, we're back with all the dome teams, like they're, some of them are playing outside today, but a dome team coming back outside to play this Redskin team. Listen, I wouldn't get involved in this game either, and I think if you put this game in a teaser, you can go either way. You can either take the Saints plus the points or the Redskins plus the points. I think a field goal probably separates this game, and my slight lean would definitely would have to go to the Redskins because they're at home. That's like don't do it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, guys, don't touch this game. This is like, unless you're like a fan of pain. There's really no reason to get involved in this. I mean, New Orleans is 1-2 on the road. That one win was a 6-point win where they had to come back in Indianapolis. Okay. And like you said, Dream, they're just a terrible, terrible loss at home against Tennessee. That defense is bad. I know a lot of people love Cousins today in their, in their daily fantasy and in their leagues. If you can pick him up, just thinking he's going to carve up the Saints. I kind of see it the same way. I'm not going to touch it. Like I said, you have to be a sadist if you want to play this game. But I kind of lean a Redskins win.
I'd be honest with you. You know what? I kind of even, as I'm talking about it, I'm looking at the numbers right now with the Saints allowing 428 yards they're giving up. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Dude, I'm kind of liking the Redskins a little bit.
You think that you think Rex's brother will be out of there this year or what?
Oh, he's so bad. He's so bad. What might happen is, Rex Ryan needs to do his little brother a solid. Bring him up to Buffalo and say, look, man, I'm going to teach you everything I know.
Yeah, right.
Because, I mean, he was bad with the Cowboys.
Yep.
I mean, you went from, Wade to Rob Ryan, and he screwed that whole defense up. And, look, New Orleans hasn't had a good defense well before Ryan. So a lot of it, I feel like you have to put on the general manager. I mean, you're running like 50-year-old safeties out there. But still, I mean, the scheme is bad. I mean, you can attack him on the running game, on the passing game. I mean, he just has no clue of how to run that defense.
I agree 100%, guys. So we're going to move on to the next game here. We got my Miami Dolphins, who are 3-5, 2-3 away, versus the 4-4 Eagles, who are 2-1 at home. Philadelphia is -6 with an under over of 49, and I'm sure you guys have noticed that last year I was all over the Dolphins, win or lose, tailing, fading, whatever. This year, I don't know what the hell to make of this team whatsoever. Dan Campbell comes in, Light obviously gets them all charged up for like the first 2 games, then they get smoked by Buffalo. I don't like this Dolphins team one bit. And the Eagles are very inconsistent as well. So this
Dan Campbell and a head coach.
Oh man, this game here just bothers the hell out of me, man. So
Dan Campbell is the worst head coach in the league right now.
Yeah,
come on,
probably.
I mean, at least call him play wise and things like that. It's one thing to be able to get your guys fired up. Unfortunately, I have to think the Eagles come out here and crush them. I'm not going to take the 6 points. But I think the Dolphins, just stick a fork in them. They're in a can of tuna fish right now.
Absolutely, especially after spending all that money on the defense and then nothing. Dream.
Look, yes, sir. I like the Eagles every week. I don't know why. It seems like their schedule, for some reason, is very appealing to me, who they play. They seem to be better to me than all the teams that they play against. Once again, we got them coming in. We've got the Dolphins coming into Philadelphia. And the Dolphins give up another team 399 yards. Now, let me just say something. New Orleans only gives up like 20 more yards than that. And New Orleans does it with nobody's on their defense, all right? This Dolphin defense, which has been good over the years, and then supposedly upgraded with, the Dominican Sue and all the other stuff that they've done. But yet still giving up 399 yards. That's awful.
Well, also losing Cameron Wake.
Yes.
I mean, it's huge for them, which is why I think that the Eagles probably will absolutely smoke them. I mean, I know they added Sue, but they don't even use him the way that...
No, they don't. I was going to get into that.
It's a joke, and like everybody knows, like the NFL, it is 90% scheme, I really feel like. Like, obviously you need to be a great athlete, but you need to fit into the scheme of the system. And yeah, Sue's going to go and take his money, and they coached him terribly, and they play a bad defense, and now Wake with a blown-up Achilles is gone. Who else do they have? I mean, unfortunately, I would love to see the Miami Dolphins win. That ain't happening.
Yeah, probably not.
I like the Eagles today. I don't know about the Eagles with a blowout because, I mean, the Eagles really don't blow anybody out unless they get to the end of the game and they're up a little bit. But I do think the Eagles can find a way to win this game. Once again, the Eagles have really no business giving 6 based on sometimes they start off real sluggish. Bradford, I don't know what Bradford's going to show up. He goes up and down. Like Hat said, he's very inconsistent. The one thing I do know about the Eagles that they should do, though, is give Ryan Matthews the ball if you're going to run it out of the shotgun, which that's what they're going to do. I hate to say it, but they paid all that money in DeMarco Murray, and I get it, but Matthews right now is the better back in that system. Give him the ball and let him go, and you'll be a lot more successful. Stop trying to force feed Murray. I like to sprinkle in the Sproles. I like him in the shotgun as well, along with Matthews. But just stop trying to force Murray the ball. I think the Eagles would get the game won here.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe you can explain this to me, and I don't see this enough. And I don't watch a ton of Eagles, but why don't they, you see a lot of teams when they have a running back like Sproles and you have somebody like DeMarco Murray, you line up Sproles and DeMarco Murray in the backfield with the A and B back. They never do that. It's like
I know.
Play action to DeMarco, throw it to Sproles, let him run for 5-6 yards at a clip because that's what he does. I'm starting to seriously, and maybe, I mean, look, hey, I never liked the Eagles.
I'm right with you, what you get ready to say. I know what you're getting ready to say. Yep.
There's something about his play calling that is
not
off.
all that. Not all that. I agree with you 150%. And I've been kind of screaming about it since like the third week of the season. First of all, the first questions about Chip is you question the getting rid of the personnel that he got rid of. Then you start questioning, the scheme, like you said, scheme again. What you're trying to run with an offense. Why haven't they made any? Listen, you got a guy. Everybody in the NFL. I mean, I talked about it a while ago, but the people are talking about it that he runs better out of like a single back or out of maybe even an I form. How come you haven't implemented that in your offense where you're like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm doing it my way. Sometimes you have to shut down and you have to take some other people's advice and do some different things.
Yeah,
whether it's even maybe even trying the pistol like they did in Denver might work better for him. But for him to just sit in that shotgun and in that shotgun draw that they try to run play after play after down after down after down with it not working, that's just being stubborn.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. And I think the reason they do that is because of the terrible personnel decisions. You don't have, the Eagles don't have a package that they can bring in with a bunch of guys that are pushing close to 400 pounds when they need a yard or two. They don't have that.
Right.
So if they can't break to the outside, and when they face defenses that are a little quicker on the corners and play that flat side down, they struggle. And, if you can't pick up a yard or two in the NFL, well, you're not going to be very successful.
All right, guys, the next two games are like really, really ugly and nasty. And just let me know if either one of you are on a side because I am not on a side on either one of these games. The Cleveland Browns 2-7 going into the 5-4 Pittsburgh Steelers. I know that Pittsburgh has Jones starting today, and Big Ben is his backup. And Pittsburgh -6 with an under over a 42. Any opinion on these whatsoever, Dan or Dream?
No, I just want to see Antonio Brown's numbers today now with no Big Ben in.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that because I saw a chart, and it is crazy. But he actually does better with Landry out there. It was Vic that really killed his numbers.
Right.
But they will take a big hit. But I still think it's funny. 6 points. It's still an in-division game. So I think that's a little crazy. I almost lean Cleveland, but
you know what I hate though? You know what I really don't like? How many times have we seen a team go to the backup quarterback? The starter gets hurt, they go to the backup, and then the backup kind of gets hurt with some mysterious kind of booty injury. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, wait a minute, timeout.
Yeah,
finally we hired you as a backup and paid you all this money. We want you to come in and play. Now all of a sudden, after a couple of starts that went dusty for you, like all of a sudden you got an injury. It's almost to me like that pitcher in baseball that gets blown up and all of a sudden he's on the DL with like he got a shoulder sprain or something. It's like, dude, come on.
Yeah, I hear you. And look, I mean, I've been saying that Vic has been done for 4 years. But, look, I think that Cleveland obviously is not a great team. This is still in Pittsburgh. I expect Pittsburgh to win, but 6 points is crazy. And then Baltimore against, a 5-point favorite. I actually think Jacksonville might win this game outright, but I'm not going to touch it.
Big ups to my man Wayne Yarborough out there. Holiday is out there. A lot of people are out here on Twitter at SBTV Nation. And the other nasty game that I was talking about was the Jags, who are 2-6, going into the 2-6 Ravens. And
I just knew you were going there.
Baltimore -5.5 with an under over a 47.5. And I got to be honest with you, this game is nasty as well. And I'm not getting involved in it, man. I don't know what happened to the Ravens stream.
I don't either, but hey, at least I don't got to see you
Flacco
wearing your Booty Ray Rice jersey this year.
Get the Ray Rizzle jersey.
At least I don't have to see you wear your Booty Ray Rizzle jersey this year.
No, sir. No, sir. I've been in a lot of close games, man. 2 points, 3 points, stuff like that, and just have been on the wrong side. So, I don't know. That game is kind of ugly, guys.
Yeah, it's the 25th worst defense in Baltimore against the 30th worst in Jacksonville.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then, Baltimore actually has a slightly better defense or offense at 18. Jacksonville's 20. So, again, this is another game that if you're an absolute sadist, just take your coin, flip it, and whichever side you want, throw it on there because that's the chances you have. But I lean Jacksonville to win, actually.
Minnesota Vikings are going into the Oakland Raiders. Minnesota is 6-2, 2-2 away. The Raiders are 4-4, 2-2 at home. Oakland -2.5, and Teddy Bridgewater did get the clear to play today, so he will be in as quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. I think both of these teams are very similar, man. Oakland, like I said, -2.5, so Oakland's favored as a 500 team with a 6-2 Vikings team coming in with Teddy Bridgewater under over 43 points. Dream, Teddy Bridge.
The bridge, brother, the bridge. Listen, I don't think these teams are similar. I do think the Vikings are better. And that's my opinion, obviously. I like what the Vikings have done this season with the small loss to San Fran at the beginning of the season. Outside of that, I've been pretty impressed with what they've done. I've watched them, and I think that the Viking defense doesn't get a lot of props. Their defense has been pretty good this season, and they really have kept the Vikings in the game. They've only given up 347 yards, which, after we hear the 399 and the 420 out of New Orleans, I think we can put that in perspective. But go look at the Oakland Raiders. Their defense allows 422 yards.
Oh, yeah, brutal.
They're just 6 short of the awful defense of the New Orleans Saints, but nobody really talks about how bad the Raiders defense is. Go ahead.
There is one caveat to that, though, is they do have the 5th best run defense in the league. Okay, their pass defense is absolutely brutal.
Yep.
But if Minnesota can't get the running game going with Adrian Peterson, which I think can be very tough today, and look, I know Bridgewater has been cleared to play. I can't expect I guess he's supposed to be at 100%, but I don't know, man. I don't know if they have the offensive weapons to truly light up Oakland.
I don't think they're going to light up. I agree with you. I don't think that they light up Oakland by any means. And what's Vegas got as the number at?
As far as the total?
2.5.
The spread.
Spread is Oakland -2.5 and the under over 43. So Oakland's favored, brother.
Yeah, I see that. The only issue is that the Vikings are on the road, and the Vikings' 2 losses have come on the road. But they have also won on the road as they beat Detroit and they beat Chicago. That being said, this is a really tough game. I think that in this particular game, I think if you get involved in a teaser, I think you take the Vikings and you tease them up. And I think that probably is your best way to go. Yeah. This is another game. I'm not involved financially, but I am going to lean. I think the Vikings can win, but I think you need to get them more than 2 points just in case.
The one thing that I will say to close this out, though, is, call me crazy, and I love Bridgewater. I think Oakland has a better quarterback.
I think you're on to something there, Dan. I think I agree with you with
I think
Carr.
In a year or two, I think both these guys are going to be good. I think Carr is going to be special.
Yeah, Carr's going to be good. I agree with you on that. All right, so I'm going to move over to the next game, guys, because
this game, right there. I don't know. I don't think I disagree with that either. Yeah. I think you may be right there. I think the issue with the Raiders, though, they got to get them somebody to throw the ball to.
Yeah, right.
Well, you got Amari Cooper.
Yeah, but like I said, they got to get somebody to throw the ball to.
Yeah, a good. You're right. If they need a solid tight end or slot to move the change. You're definitely right. If they can go into a draft next year and they get a cornerback and a slot receiver, they could be a very dangerous team.
I agree 100%, guys. Looking at the next one, this is going to be a big game here today. It's at 4:25, and this works out beautifully for my schedule today. Is the 8-0 Patriots, who are 3-0 away, coming into the 5-4 New York Giants, who are 3-1 at home. New England -7.5 with an under/over that has actually come down a little bit. It's down to 53.5. I can just tell you this much, guys. I've been watching both of these teams in the secondary. I think that New England, this is their one, they're the best. I think they're the best team in the NFL, but I think that their one hiccup is their secondary and their pass defense. I think that Eli has a big game. I also think Brady has a better game and has a huge game here. And I think this game goes over, and I think the New England Patriots win this game pretty handily versus the New York Giants. But I think the Giants will keep it close for a minute. But I think New England in the back of their brain knows that the Giants always have their number. And I think Brady is on a mission this year to go 16-0 and win the Super Bowl, man. I got to be honest with you. So, Dan, I'm sorry to say it, but I think the New England Patriots get the job done and layeth the smacketh down on the Giants.
You don't have to be sorry. You know, I'm coming into this game not expecting.
Let me get the Ciroc.
Yeah. Not expecting a whole lot. Look. There's only one way. Like
Odell Beckham's playing though.
Yeah, and Odell Beckham will have a huge game.
Yeah, he will.
He will have a huge game. But the problem with the Giants is obviously on the defense, and unless there's only one way the Giants have any shot at keeping this close, and that's if somehow Jason Pierre-Paul becomes 2 years ago Jason Pierre-Paul and somehow puts pressure on Brady. The Giants are the worst team at covering balls over the middle, especially to the tight end, and you have the best tight end in the league. You also have the best slot receiver in the league in Edelman, by far.
Yep.
Amendola's been catching the ball. He's actually maintained his health, and his hands look pretty good this year. I can't look. 7.5 points. I think the reason for that number not being higher is because Coughlin is 5-1 against Belichick. In this current maturation, but these are two completely different teams, guys. I mean, the Patriots are probably the most superior team. The over looks really good here.
Let me ask you a question. I got a couple of things, because I got a couple of issues with a couple of things you guys are saying. The first question I want to ask you is, you said Beckham's going to have a big game. What are you qualifying as a big game?
I mean, he'll have at least 100 yards receiving, and I would say at least a touchdown.
And I think I agree with him, Dream. This Patriots secondary is not that good, man.
Yeah, they're not that good, but here's my thing. The Patriots secondary is not that good. They've only allowed 268 passing yards. How are they not that good? They've only allowed on yards 357 total yards, and then points per game, they've only given up 17.9. How are they not that good?
Whoa. The Patriots are the 15th receiving team. They've allowed 194 receptions. They average 11.1 yards per reception against. I know that's 268 passing yards per game.
That's what I said. That's what they allow.
I mean,
that's not a lot.
Okay, all right. Well, let me ask you a question, Dream. Name me a prolific passer who has faced the New England Patriots secondary this year. You got Pittsburgh, Big Ben, okay, maybe, but he's not one of the best. Buffalo, Jacksonville, Dallas without Romo, Indianapolis with
Big Ben is definitely one of the best.
Okay, all right.
Tyrod Taylor put up 32.
Yeah, Indianapolis with a
banged up
Andrew Luck. The New York Jets with Fitzpatrick.
23.
Freaking Miami Dolphins with Tannehill. The Washington Redskins with Kissing Cousins. Come on.
And now here comes Eli.
Yeah, Eli. You're gonna have Peyton Ball coming in.
No. I'm just trying to say, okay. So what are you saying? Tannehill, Kissing Cousins, Eli. It didn't get much better.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Because you didn't want to say, but you just compared Eli Manning to Ryan Tannehill and Kirk Cousins.
I'm joking.
Is that okay? I'm about to say that
was just a mess with you. That was just a mess with you.
Dream's poking the bear again.
Dude,
I just had to poke Dr. Dizzle with Eli. Can't wait to see him with that all shucks look out there.
Eli's had a monster year. I mean, a monster year. I mean, you can say what you want, but I mean, he averages, almost 300 yards of passing per game.
Yep.
He has, way more touchdowns than interceptions. If you look at it right now, 6, 8, 11, 12, 15, 19 touchdowns. So 5
interceptions. 6. Don't say 5.
6.
You got 6.
6. You're right. But he's also had multiple touchdown pass games in almost every game except for 3. Every game except for 3.
The game that blew him up, though, so it's still a little bit of an anomaly because the game that blew him up was the Saint game with the 6 touchdowns. I mean, we got to take it with a grain of salt. He's played a lot better. We won't even talk about his numbers last year that were absolutely like Ryan Tannehill-ish last year.
Whoa. Hold on, I got to pull up the stats from last year because
no,
last year was a monster.
We'll move forward. We'll move forward. But back to this game. I like the Patriots obviously to win this game. I think the Patriots defense. I think it's better than you guys are giving it credit for, to be honest with you.
Their run defense is great, but the Giants can't run the ball anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Shane Vereen has a big game today. He knows how to attack that defense. I think Odell has a big game. Look, I'm not saying the Giants are going to win. That offense is good, but look, the Giants could put up 35 points and lose by 20.
Oh, no doubt. Definitely.
But hey, and I just got to say this. Last year, Eli's numbers, 4,400 yards passing, 30 touchdowns to 14 interceptions, so over a 2-to-1 ratio.
Not bad.
He was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He had a 92.1 rating.
What was their record? What was their win-loss record last year?
Their defense has been terrible.
No. I'm just saying, what was their win-loss record last year?
Fair enough, but you can't pin it on Eli.
Well, I mean, when Denver wins and loses, it gets pinned on Peyton Blah.
Yeah.
Okay. When the Patriots lost in the Super Bowls, it was pinned on Brady. You have to pin losses on a quarterback.
No, but Brady's been lauded. Brady completed last thing. You know, they pinned that on the defense not stepping up at the end of the game. I mean, look, it is what it is, but. You know, this game is going to be a very high-scoring game. Yeah. Like I said, the one strength of the Patriots' defense, their biggest strength, is their rush defense. But the Giants don't rush the ball. They rush the ball terribly anyway.
Right.
Well, my thing with the Patriots is I think if you look at the last 2 weeks, I think the defense has gotten even better than it already was. It only gave up 7 to Miami, and I know Miami's no juggernaut offensively. Washington, it only gave up 10 points to Washington. I just think that the Patriots defense, I think you guys are kind of underrating them a little bit. I would take it a little bit easy on that over. I don't love it. I mean, I hear you, and it looks like it might be right, you know, but I don't love it. And I know that some of the Giants' stats are inflated because of that awful game against the Saint defense. And then, you know, I'll be careful with that. I think the Patriots are better than you think they are as far as defensively.
I like the over in the game. That's the call that I'm making with that particular game. I think it's like a maybe like a 34-27, you know, something crazy. You know what I mean? Where there's
I think it's going to be more than that.
All right, sounds good. Next game we have on a ticket, Dream, is your boy. The Kansas City Chiefs are coming into town. They are 3-5 going into the 7-1 Broncos, who are 3-0 at home. Broncos -4.5, coming off a bye week. With an under-over 42.5. Dream, what's your boy going to do out of the bye week?
You got to love him off the bye week. You got to love him against the Kansas City Chiefs, as they pretty much have had the Kansas City Chiefs number. I do like what I saw out of Denver going into the bye week as far as their improvement. I would like to see them get my man Demaryius Thomas going a little bit so he could remind everybody who he is, because apparently a lot of people have forgot. I would like to see. It looks like they got a little bit of their run game going. It's a bad spot for the Chiefs, I think, coming in here. And I like the Broncos to win this game. You know, 4.5, you might as well just buy it down 1.5, 2 points, and get it down to -2.5, just in case to be safe. I see the Broncos winning the game. And they should cover, but just be safe and get it under a field goal.
Dan, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Look, I think the Broncos look, the Chiefs got their win against the Lions last week, and they beat the Roethlisberger-less Steelers the week before, so they have a 2-game winning streak. And
Feeling this out.
And now they got to go into, but they go, I don't even think that. You know, I think they go into Denver, and I think Denver kills them today. I love that defense a lot. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to take the Patriots-Giants over, knock it down 7 points.
Smart.
And take the Denver Broncos and add 7 points to them, so get them up to +2.
Okay.
And roll with a little 430, 7-point teaser between those two games. But I think Denver, I might even take the -5 points, because I actually think C.J. Anderson and Hillman get it going today. They get a little ground game going. And I actually do think Demaryius will have a good game. I think that, the Chiefs secondary is not as vaunted as it once was. And, Peyton be able to pick that up. And, again, the addition of Vernon Davis should...
I was just getting ready to say that. You just got me. Go ahead.
Yeah, full week of practice with Vernon. Peyton, he's very, very accurate in the short route still. It's just the deep ball that gets him a little bit. I mean, he's still as accurate as ever and as smart as ever. So I think Vernon has a big game today. So, again, fantasy player you guys might want to look at is Vernon Davis for an afternoon slot.
Absolutely. So, all right, guys, sounds good, man. Taking a look at the next game that is the final game. It's Sunday Night Football, and I can't wait for this one. We got the Arizona Cardinals, who are 6-2, going into the 4-4 Seattle Seahawks. And if Arizona, Seattle's -3 with an under over 43.5. But if Arizona wants to win this division, they have to win this game because Seattle has one of the easiest schedules out of anybody in the second half of the year, guys. So I would love to see Arizona win this game, Dream. I would definitely love to see it. And I think they are the better team. It's just going to be tough, in prime time playing in the 12th man in Seattle, man. What's your thoughts, Dream?
You know what? I agree with you with the toughness of this game. I just have said, and I said it on Houston radio on Friday, the Seattle Seahawks, a lot of people are looking at this team, and you remember the team from 2 years ago. We saw, I think, a little bit of the decline last year, and it seems like, and I thought they were going to be greatly improved this year with the addition of Jimmy Graham, and it just hasn't been a good fit. It just really, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think it's worked out quite like we expected it to work out. I think that Jimmy Graham puts a little bit of pressure on Russell Wilson as he's trying to get him the ball, which I think is screwing up some of what he does as well. I know the offensive line in Seattle is a issue. I know they got a little bit more healthy now, and they are coming off of a bye, but I still just don't think that this Seattle Seahawks team is where they were 2 years ago, and everybody thinks that they're still there. They're just going to flip the switch and turn it on. We've watched them defensively, in a bunch of games, just be, not be this defense that they've talked about. They've been beat at home now already. So the 12th man isn't quite as active as that is either. So now we're going to go over the Cardinals. The issue with the Cardinals is so far on the road, when they play good teams or teams above 500, they've lost. So they've got to really come to play this game. This game is for me, it's going to be a statement game of who the Cardinals are as far as when we take a look at them maybe going into the playoffs. This is a game that the Cardinals need to go in there.
Right.
Defense needs to buckle down and go and beat Seattle. Cardinals need to beat Seattle to really, I think, prove to us and to themselves how good they are. If they go in there and they lose, then we're going to be like, okay, Cardinals, same old Cardinals, not really that good, not really that impressive. And they should be able, from what I've seen out of Seattle and how Seattle's played, based on what I've seen out of Arizona's defense, the Cardinals should be able to win this game. So that being said, I'm going to take the Cardinals, and I'm going to add, would Vegas have for a line? Three?
Plus
you got
three. They're plus
yeah,
3.
I'm going to add a half a point to mine to 3.5 because I want to win and not a push. I'm going to take the Arizona Cardinals plus 3.5.
All right.
I love Arizona.
Oh, nice.
Love Arizona.
All right.
You got the number. Well, people forget. So Arizona's defense is dope, right? I mean, they're really good.
Yep.
They have the number
except when they play Cleveland and Pittsburgh, though. Dan.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a West Coast team. They were traveling east. That they look. Hey, they lost to Pittsburgh. That was a bad one. That was like a trap for them. I agree. Cleveland, they still put up 34 points. It was 34-20. But here's the thing: people forget about this Arizona offense. They have the number 6 best total offense in the NFL. They're putting up 417.5 yards a game. Seattle, on the other hand, their offense is number 22.
Yeah, right.
They're putting up almost 100 yards less per game.
Yep.
Marshawn Lynch is not Marshawn Lynch anymore. The same thing with Eddie. It's like these big around the middle backs. They have a very limited shelf life, and I think maybe we're seeing the beginning of the end for Marshawn, and maybe for Eddie Lacy. It's already the end.
I don't know. Just to cut you off for a second, I see Marshawn still running really hard and being effective. Once again, I'm back with you with the offensive line, like you were talking earlier. I don't think the offensive line is quite being as effective as they are.
Yeah,
okay.
And that offensive line is totally different than it was 2 years ago, guys.
Their O-line, look, I've always been a believer that you never trade a stalwart, offensive line for a skill position player. the loss of their center has affected that team all year.
Big time.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, and you cannot replace that. You even saw, Big Ben a few years ago, with Pouncey when he was always getting injured and that team took a hit. The center might be the second most important position on the football field. Okay, and to trade him was idiotic, I think. Look, I think Arizona wins this game pretty big.
All right. I
mean, look, Seattle was lucky to beat Dallas last week, 13-12.
Yep, that was in Dallas, though. Now you are in Seattle on prime time. I mean, you got the number 2 and number 3 defenses in all of football here.
Yeah, and you were in Dallas, but it was a Romo-less, hobbled Des Bryant-less, no running back Cowboys team.
I see a lot of field goals here. I see not a lot of fireworks as far as these teams are concerned.
The issue with these teams is you got two defenses that can possibly score. And that's the only issue that you have as far as if you're getting ready to plug that under. That's the only thing I'd be careful with is especially the Cardinals defense. I could see some interceptions being run back for touchdowns.
Got it. Well, you know what? If you get it up 10 points. Under 53.
Well, that's the other thing. If you take that Broncos and add 7 to that, the Patriots-Giants over, 7, and then you get Arizona up to 10.
Yeah, right.
That's a pretty good 7.3 teamer right there.
Yes, sir. So, guys, that's the last game that we have on the ticket. Obviously, we'll be doing Monday Night Football tomorrow. You and I dream, and
Monday morning quarterback
as well. Sir. And we're gonna have a big week, man, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about as far as college football, college basketball, NHL, NBA, NFL, the whole package, guys. So that's pretty much going to do it for us, man. I got a very busy day, guys. So just look.
Hey, I want to throw out real quick too. I'm not big into fantasy, but for you guys that are into it, you might want to look at. I don't know in other leagues, but I'm in a pretty competitive league. Deshaun Jackson making his return to coming playing again today against that New Orleans defense. He might be out there available in the free agent pool. You guys might want to look at that and maybe picking him up and giving him a shot. Also, Zach Ertz for the Philadelphia Eagles. I picked him up like a couple weeks ago, actually last week. Big impact to my offense. So just a couple of guys you guys might want to look at that might be out there as far as fantasy is concerned. And once again, like Dr. Dan said, Vernon Davis.
Yes. Definitely.
I think Vernon Davis has a big game today.
All right. Sounds good, guys.
Yeah, and I mean, Deshaun Jackson, especially for your daily fantasy leagues, guys, anytime you can get somebody against New Orleans.
Yes.
Yo, by the way, I'm starting both Redskin wide receivers today in my lineup. I got Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon.
Nice. I know. I haven't heard people so excited about starting kissing cousins in 4 years or whatever, 3 years.
All right.
And I wouldn't be too surprised if Breezy's numbers fell off today either, being outside in the grass.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, and it's windy, very windy on the East Coast. I don't know about DC, but I know it's very windy up here today. So especially at MetLife, if you're going to look at that game and you're going to look at the over, just check the wind conditions before it.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Absolutely, guys. And Oakland has the worst pass defense in all of the league. So, you might want to take a look at Teddy Bridge as well.
Start the Bridge. Oh, the Bridge's number's been oof.
I'm starting Brady today. I got Brady and Gronk on my team today, man. So
yeah, I'm doing the early. I got to start Rodgers against Detroit. I think he plays angry.
Yeah, I'm starting off because Thursday I had a really big game. My one player that I got so far is Eric Decker, who had 20 points. So I'm looking forward to keeping it moving and going from there, guys. So. Oh, you know what? I did have the Jets defense, and that only proves 5 points, so I might not be in that good a shape after all. So we'll see what ends up going down, and we will go from there, guys. So, Dan, I'm going to start off with you and see what you got going on today. I'll kick it over to the Dream, and then I'll close it out. What do you got, Dan?
Yeah, so right now I'm rolling with 2 teasers, and they just happen to be early and late, the way I paired them up. So the first one for the 1 o'clocks, we're going to go Carolina plus 5.5, St. Louis +3, and the Green Bay Packers -1.
Wow.
And then, so that's our 10-point teaser for there. The 4 o'clock games, we're going to go with actually a 7-point teaser. We're going to go with the Broncos, which is now down to -4, so we can get that at +3.
Yep.
The over in the Giants-Pats game, so we get that down to 47, go over. and then we get the Cardinals up to +10.
Okay.
So those are the two teasers I'm going with, and I'll tweet it out. I'm 99. You know what? I'll lock it in now. I'm going to go with the Broncos minus the 4 points.
All right, sounds
That's
good.
my one straight game.
All right, Dream, what's your thoughts today?
I'm a big fan of the Philadelphia Eagles at home today. You guys know that. I'm not really sure how I'm going to put it together, but I am actually, because of this show, I am starting to really lean. As crazy as this sound, I'm really starting to lean Washington Redskins. But I haven't made up my mind quite on yet. At 4 o'clock, I am going to go with, I like Denver Broncos, and I like the New England Patriots as well. And it'll probably be, money line parlay there with those two. And then at night, I am going to take a shot with the Arizona Cardinals, but I am, like I said, going to buy it up to 3.5 and possibly even put it in a T situation as well with probably the Monday night game, as I do love the Bengals. And that's what I'm going to do for today.
All right, sounds good, guys. I am looking for the Green Bay Packers to win the game, get it under a touchdown, even a money line situation. Green Bay Packers to lay the smackdown on the Lions today. I'm also looking at this Carolina Panthers-Tennessee game is bothering me a little bit. I was on it originally, but I'm going to pull back from it. I like the St. Louis Rams to win their game, and I'm going to keep that open into Monday night because we got a big game going on tomorrow night. So, and that's pretty much it, man. A little marathon parlay for me, guys.
Guys, just in, it does not look like Forte or Alshon will play today.
Alshon Jeffrey and Forte are out for the Bears?
Looks like it. They're saying almost definitely Forte, which we kind of knew, and Alshon Jeffrey, it's looking very unlikely.
Oh, man, so you definitely got to jump on the St. Lucia bandwagon today.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, we love you to death. Go out there. Go easy. Do
Yes,
your
sir.
own homework. Take your home, please. Make all your dreams a damn reality and get that money. Let's go.
Peace.